Have you ever wanted to just quit, give up, and just throw it all away and start over again? Actually, last week I felt like that 2 times. I'm excited to bring up our next guest. We're talking about this book, Never Give Up, Stories of Perseverance. How do you keep moving forward through situations where you just want to give it all up? Well, we're going to talk to our next guest today. We have Laurie Bodisch. Laurie, so excited to have you here today. You and your pineapples are in the house.
We're here.
I'm excited to have you because this topic of never giving up, I have been a person that I always called myself a quitter for so much of my life. And who have met me just recently probably have no idea that I was ever a quitter. But there's so many times, Laurie, that I've just wanted to quit, throw in the towel, start all over again, put my tail between my legs and just like go back to what I was doing before. And I'm curious, have you ever felt like that in your life?
Oh, can we count the times? Yes. I think every one of us has felt that way at least one time or another in our lives. And I think of course, as women, I think we take that to heart so much more intensely because many of us strive with that need to be perfect.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Perfect. Like, what the heck does that even mean? Yeah, what is perfect? Were you a perfectionist and are you still a perfectionist? Or like, what's your situation related to that?
There was a point in my life where I felt the need to be perfect almost all the time, and perfect leading to paralysis. I talk about
Mm.
it's funny you bring that up because I talk about that in my chapter. Like I realized when that need certain to be perfect started, and then 25 years later realized done is better than perfect. So
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, we were talking a little bit about your chapter before we got started here, and you said, you know what, it's not perfect, but it's done, and so you submitted it, and I'm so excited that you said that because done is better than perfect. Like we need to move on, right? There's at some point like we need to just move on and learn from whatever it is that we're doing, and so related to that perfection, what was it about you? What was it in your life that made you realize that that done is better than perfect, and what helps you to move into that? Because this is a state of mind. This is definitely a mindset shift. So how did you make that shift?
it truly is. My shift was that I had a point in my life where I was forced to stop, take inventory, and truly evaluate what was important in my life, what wasn't important in my life, and move from there. Because with all the things happening in our world, we get blasted from every angle, social media, just out in public, wherever we are. And there's just so much noise. Trying to really come back to ourselves and think about our mindset and really what is important to us. What's your purpose? What's your why? So yes, I'll share it 'cause I share it in the book. I finally am talking about it more. I went through a point in my life where I struggled with alcohol dependency. I spent 30 days in an alcohol rehab from always wanting to be perfect. I mean, sometimes we'll drive ourselves to alternate means for coping, and alcohol was a way for me to cope. And when I was in rehab, that's what forced me to stop and really take inventory of what was important in my life. So
Congratulations on going through that. 30 days of committing to something like that. That's not something that everybody even wants to embark on, or even just knowing that we need help, that we can't really do this on our own. So how did that feel for you to, I don't know the situation, but like, I'm assuming that there was a point there that you had to admit that you needed help. And so share
yeah,
with us that journey.
sure. To tell you the truth, it was really my family doing an intervention for me.
Mm.
With me not actually realizing the time that at the time that I was literally killing myself on the inside, but also on the outside, because it was that need to feel perfect. And when you aren't perfect, or what your mind tells you is perfect, it's kind of debilitating, and you want to just kind of figure out a way to get out of that feeling and that intensity of wanting to be that way. So being forced to, again, step back, look at life, what was important. I mean, I had a 5-year-old daughter at the time. That's
Hmm.
what was important. And I was able to do that with a lot of help from a lot of people, a lot of support. But it's also, sometimes we have to realize also, we find out who our true friends are in times like that. And I think that for me also was a big breakthrough, because I knew the people who were around me because they liked or they loved me for who I
Hmm.
was, not for what I could give them or provide for them or who I could connect them with. So it really was
Wow.
a
So,
spurring experience.
okay, so you had this intervention, and like, were you mad at them at the beginning, or how was
Yes,
your?
I didn't need
Okay.
it. I didn't need it. I was fine. I was fine. I kind of more or less went kicking and screaming, but yeah. But the sad thing is that when I initially got here, I realized that I wasn't I wasn't the worst off. I mean, there are others who had people who didn't intervene for them, and they truly were at the worst and bottom of how they could, they talk about your rock bottom. Um, Granted, I know what my rock bottom was. I'm not going back there again, and I am not making any excuses for that. No, oh, somebody else was worse off than me. That is not the case at all. I know exactly where I was and what was happening. But just being able to go through that experience with others and witness and have a community to be able to talk. I think that's one thing again in life, that we don't find those communities or those trusted areas that that can help us through those kind of things. And that so much has driven me in what I do with my wealth coaching, is that creating that safe space is so important,
Yeah.
because money is such a personal topic.
Yeah, and I just want to say that, to the interveners, um, congratulations to them for taking that step, because that can be a scary step as well. And they didn't want to give up on you, Laurie. And so
I
because
know.
of that, yeah, you're still here today doing what you do and empowering people in the relation to money, because money is a huge, huge barrier for a lot of us. Like, a lot of us get stuck in this, like, I'm never going to have wealth. I don't know what I'm doing. They get money and they immediately spend it because they don't know how to deal with it. The vast majority of lottery winners who win
Mhm.
become absolutely broke within 5 years, like within 5 years, some are earlier. But that's because they don't know how to handle that money that they have. So the money is a really big piece in our society today. I just want to share, we are talking about the book Never Give Up. This is Stories of Perseverance. One of our authors, Laurie Bodisch, and she is her wealth coach. And first, before we talk about what you do, Laurie, just tell us the story about the pineapples, okay? Like, they're really intriguing me. I got to know a little bit more about these pineapples. What's that all?
Absolutely. Well, when I started the business, I was trying to figure, people talk about logos. What do you, what are you going to do? And okay, bottom line, I love glitter. I love gold. I also love pineapples for what they represent. They represent a welcoming community, like welcome people to your home. They also, in olden times, were kind of a symbol of, wealth and well-to-do. And if you were welcoming someone into your home, you would slice a pineapple and give them a piece of the pineapple. So I'm like, it just all kind of clicked and made sense at one point that, what, a golden pineapple is perfect for her wealth coach.
That's awesome. I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that about pineapples. Like, I didn't know they had a history.
Yes.
Everything has a history. We just don't always know it. And so that is fascinating. I love how you incorporated something like that related to welcoming, especially as you were mentioning earlier, because when you have the support of the people in the group, this is what you provide. And so let me ask you this question related to your wealth coaching that you do, because this is something for me, it's really important to provide that judgment-free, safe space, right? And that's what you're creating. And that came through your experiences of potentially of judgment that maybe you have received on your own side, and you want to provide that for others so that they can feel safe, right? That safe haven. So how do you do this in your coaching? How do you provide that safe space? Because money, as you mentioned, money is a topic that people don't want to talk about. And because there's so much, I think, shame surrounded around it. So why don't you share with us, like, how do you utilize, the tips and tools that you've learned along the way? How do you make somebody to feel comfortable to even talk about money?
I think the most important thing to do when creating a space like that is truly asking people, number one, for confidentiality. I do some screening in people that come into my mentorship program. We do usually 7 to 10 women at a time, where we truly get to connect with each other and share experiences and struggles that we're having, and building that community in my mentorship program is so, it's just so important in anything we talk about with money.
Awesome. I love that, because so creating that safe space is so important when, especially a topic like that. And gosh, we're almost out of time. I cannot believe it. Time just flies by. So I want to share, you can connect with Laurie. Go to herwealthcoach.com, herwealthcoach.com. And we're talking about possibly working on a project together that I'm so excited about, that we're not going to announce right now. You got to stay tuned for that. But I'm so excited about what's to come, to work with you on something different as well. And go get your copy of this book. We're talking about the book, Never Give Up. Go to actiontakerspublishing.com/never. And a lot of our authors have given away free gifts. So go over there and please cash in on your free gifts. That's actiontakerspublishing.com/never. So Laurie, we got to round it up. And so why don't you share with us, like, what is one thing that you would like the audience, the reader, to take away from reading this book, Never Give Up?
I want to encourage readers to truly just step back, think about what's important in your life, because before you can move anywhere with wealth, you truly have to realize, sit down and understand where you are now and where you want to go to. And developing a plan, a wealth plan to make that happen is so paramount, and doing it with somebody who has licenses and certificates is so different than doing it with somebody who's popped up as a money coach. And I just have to say that because I still have people coming to me who've been burned by things like that. So yes,
Yeah.
so do your due diligence when you're starting any kind of a journey such as that.
Definitely. I agree with you 100%. You do your due diligence, because yes, you may have been burned in the past. It doesn't mean that you're going to be burned in the future. Just like they say in the financial industry, the past results are not an indication of the future results, something like that. But yeah, definitely go do that due diligence. Go get your copy of the book, Never Give Up. Connect with Laurie, herwealthcoach.com. Go get your copy of the book at actiontakerspublishing.com/never, and go get those free gifts. Laurie, thanks so much for being here. Truly appreciate you being in our environment and sharing your brilliance and your knowledge with us, and look forward to future connections with you.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
She literally fell off her chair.
I love working with Action Takers Publishing because they do take action and they're inspiring. So I want to take action because they want to take action. And there's this beautiful balance of Sally and Linda and I guess the team behind the scenes. I don't know. I never see them because they're behind the scenes. But, they just balance so wonderfully. It's like this fabulous marriage or something that, it just like works. And it feels a little bit like coming home because, they're wonderful and supportive and nurturing. But then there's also this kind of excitement that's always going on underneath. Like, let's do this. Let's go. Let's let's get it out on time. Let's get, bestseller. And that is kind of intoxicating. This, if you're feeling ambitious, I guess, if you're not, then it might be annoying. But anyway, it's fabulous, and it's beautiful, and it's worked for me like magic. It's been just magic working with action takers, and I am forever grateful that we crossed paths. I don't even remember how it happened, but I am so, so grateful. And I would recommend you guys to anyone. When people have asked me, who's publishing your book? And I say, Action Takers. Here's their number, call them. It's great. So yes, it's been wonderful. Thank you.